I hate brutalism, so let's learn about it. Brutalism started around the 1950s, mainly in the United Kingdom during the rebuilding period after World War II. The name comes from the French phrase béton brut, which means raw concrete. That pretty much tells you a lot and mostly everything you need about the style. Brutalist architecture focuses on raw materials, exposed structure, functionality over decorations, and a lot of times more geometric shapes. Usually they'll have massive shapes, repetitive forms, exposed concrete, like I said, sharp angles, and visible structural elements like boilers and pipes and such. The first Brutalist building was actually brick and showed the I-beams in the windows. Instead of hiding pipes, beams, or other supports, it often puts them on display openly as a part of the design, and it's a part of the storytelling of the architectural style. Some think that the idea behind it was that the building should reflect honesty by showing that what they were constructed with. The style became especially common in communist and socialist countries because the lack of embellishment symbolized equality and helped distance themselves from the styles of the 1930s and 40s. The eccentricities of such were seen as like a nod to the upper class, so the more unnecessary details were removed to show a sort of commonality and almost a promise to use resources in the best of their abilities, rather than the almost frivolousness of more overly designed pieces of architecture. This sort of idea of function over form is not specific to just communist countries. It really shows up after World War II, as I said, where many European cities were destroyed and needed fast, cheap rebuilding. Concrete became the perfect material because it was so inexpensive, it was durable, it was easy to shape into large structures via like pouring and such, and if you didn't already know, concrete has a really good compression force, so you can build some pretty tall buildings. Where it lacks is in tensile, which is when you pull something apart. So you'll often see rebar installed, and it's actually interesting because in a lot of brutalist architecture, the rebar isn't as commonly shown as the concrete itself because rebar is meant to be inset into a building to keep its structure. So if you showed the rebar on the outside, it'd probably give people more of an uneasy feeling as if it wasn't put together efficiently or properly maintained. It's really interesting with brutalism is you can very easily take something that's meant to be a community builder or something to show that you're using resources to the best of their abilities, and if you don't maintain it or you don't think about it critically enough, it can quickly become something else. Because of concrete's properties, both in cheapness, durability, and other such things, you'll see them often in government buildings, universities, apartments, and housing and such, libraries, and even city halls. The style spread all over the world during the 1950s through 70s ish, and even though brutalism became extremely popular, people eventually really started to hate it. It was described as cold, ugly, oppressive, dystopian. A lot of the concrete also aged quite badly, not in structure per se, but because of the rainy climates, there were usually stains or just weather damage, and I'm sure we've all seen those satisfying pressure washing videos of people doing sidewalks and parking lots. Now imagine doing that for your entire building, every nook, every cranny, every windowsill. Oof, it's a lot of money, as well as it doesn't look the best if you don't maintain the look of just concrete, like a very one tone kind of look. Also, imagine the buildup of grime if these buildings are meant to be commonly used like government buildings, apartments, universities, city halls, as I was listing earlier. And by the late 1970s, brutalism started to fall out of favor, but nowadays it seems to have come back into style due to some of its bold forms, textures, and sculptural appearance, as well as, well, I'd personally say mostly the cost. Modern interpretations of the style can sometimes be labeled as neo-brutalism, It's the same core principles, but it's using newer materials and technology while keeping the same raw or geometric feeling. If any of you seen the video of them trying to 3D print a house out of concrete, this may be something more neo-brutalistic from what I'm seeing. And I think that in my day-to-day life, I don't really want to see it. It reminds me of parking garages. But I do think when it comes to movies and TV shows that you may know, I think brutalism can lend itself very well to art, as well as showing a sort of authoritarian dictatorship, or showing that perhaps this community is lacking in something or is especially new, or they just got out of a time of strife, as a reference to the World War II rebuilding process. When using these in these format, brutalism can be a very good motif and can really help elevate whatever story you're trying to tell. Now, what have I learned? As you can see in the background as I was talking, there's a little video of a build I made. It took about a couple hours. It's because I really wanted to get a hands-on experience with the style. I wanted to learn and understand the depths and how to almost appreciate it in a new way. And Minecraft really does lend itself to this format of brutalism, where it's both a blessing and a curse. It's not hard to make sharp edges in Minecraft, as most of Minecraft is sharp edges and cubes, as well as most blocks are raw materials for textures, and if you don't add depth, it gets very easy for forms to get lost. I tried my best to add a little bit of value and variation to help exaggerate shadows and harsh lines in this build, and your builds can very easily look brutalistic in nature, even if it's not what you're looking for. In a game like Minecraft that's all blocks on a grid, it's not hard to make nondescript boxes that happen to look brutalistic in nature. It's something to be careful of when you're building in your own free time. And brutalism doesn't have to be just boring parking garages, cement boxes, and brick homes. So I tried to make a quick mini 2-3 hour inspired facade of Boston City Hall because I really appreciated the intricate sort of geometric work done for the outside using basically the same shade of stone for it. And while I appreciate this building, it's not my cup of tea. Though eco-brutalism will always have a place in my heart. It's probably the only version of brutalism I thoroughly enjoy. Doing this research and dabbling in a style I dislike has given me a new appreciation for it. When it's done well, and purposefully that is. And I hope it's done the same for you, or at least that you enjoyed my rambling. Brutalism's all around us, in our media, in the builds you make when you're not thinking about it too hard and just make a cobblestone box for the night, or in your day-to-day life. It's really all around us. So I hope this video can help you appreciate it a little more. I'll see you all soon. Goodbye, friends.